Lydia and her team. We appreciate you, Lydia, for inviting us to be part of this event. For those of you that are out there, and again, thank you guys for joining. Thank you for being part of this. To set up something like this is not that easy. You can consider this a conference or a seminar or workshop. So if someone would do this, it takes a lot of time and effort because you have to invite people. You have to reach out first, then invite them and fly them in, or they fly themselves in, and it's a lot of work. So we commend you, Lydia, for doing that. And a lot of people can do this. Trust me, we've done so many seminars and conferences and all that. But to do this is a lot of work. So we're excited to be here to be part of this great event. And I can tell you folks that you're all going to be blessed.
Yes, we're definitely excited and ready to jump into these great topics that we have here today.
There are so many things to talk about, but I can assure you that we will do our best within the limited time that we have
Yes.
to share as much as we can with you, because all this topic would take conferences after conferences to cover all these subjects. But we'll do our best to help you, and so that you can get all this information together. I want to make mention. Actually, I don't have my book. My book is there. I'll get it. Maybe talk to them so that I can show them my book.
Oh, yes. While Daniel is grabbing his book, again, we're just excited to be here. It's great to see so many people logged on, interested in these topics, wanting to grow, wanting to have new levels of wholeness in their life, seeking more information on how you can be your best you. That's something we definitely want to share today. Knowing how to go through these journeys. How do we create wins in our lives for ourselves, whether it be personally, professionally, spiritually, coming together and getting those tools and nuggets to create our best selves. That's what we want to help you with today. And I'm just excited that we have this moment, and just want to take a quick moment for prayer. Lord, we thank you for each and every person that is in this call and in this meeting on today. We thank you for blessing each and every conference participant, Lord God. You know their
Yes.
needs, you know their wants, Lord God.
Yes,
And Lord,
Lord.
we ask you to supply their every need, move in their life.
Yes,
We
Lord.
thank you for emotional healing. We thank you for
Yes.
spiritual healing. We thank you for the mind of Christ. We thank you for deliverance taking place during this conference, Lord,
That's
in the
right.
name
That's
of
right.
Jesus. And we thank you for allowing each and every participant to experience a new level of love, to have a new understanding of God's love for them first and foremost, and allowing this to just be a time of transformation in
Praise
each
the
and
Lord.
everybody's
Praise the
lives. And Lord,
Lord.
we
Thank
just
you,
thank you
Jesus.
for an excellent time here in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Amen. I'm back with my book.
Yes.
So this is my book. It's called Conquering the Spirit of Jezebel. And this is real. There is such a thing as the spirit of Jezebel. So a book that I wrote 10 years ago, but I saw the need of revising the copy. So I did that. So it's a great read. You'll learn a lot how to deal with the spirit of Jezebel, how to recognize it and destroy it and walk a victorious life. So I'm encouraging you to get a copy on Amazon. We have paperback on Amazon, and we have also the Kindle version. You can just download it; it's quick. So get yourself a copy and encourage someone to get a copy. Okay, blessings for that. Now let's introduce ourselves. My name is Daniel Domini, and this is my beautiful wife, Elisa. So, and we've been involved in ministry. I've been involved in ministry for the past close to 30 years now. I look young, and I'm young too. Thank God. Thank you. Feel the spirit already. So, and I've been doing ministry. I've done ministry all over the world. I've been missionaries in South America for 10 years. I've started churches in many part of the world. So, and I met my beautiful wife, and today we both uh, are doing great things for the Lord.
Yes, just to tell you a little about myself, also participating in ministry for many years. Previously lived in Florida, and now I'm in Georgia, and we'll get into some of that. But I've had the opportunity to do many things, whether it be working in the children's ministry, participating in the dance ministry, senior ministry, and most of all, teaching. Being in the field of education has been something that I've been heavily involved in for a number of years. So I've always had a heart for service, a heart for teaching, and as I mentioned a little while ago, helping others to become their best self. Sometimes people feel as though they don't have a voice in the room, and I felt it was my duty to become that voice for those who didn't have that opportunity. So that has been something that's been crucial for me in my life, and that's why we're here today as well.
So one thing I can tell you is that even though we don't have much time, but this conference is worth it because we'll share a very important subject here with you, things that you normally would go and pay hundreds of dollars to go to a conference, and here you get for free. This is not information that I share often with people unless it's a conference or a seminar, because I can't take the pearl and hand it over to the swine. And you are wonderful, you are awesome. Sometimes people don't get it, and then you labor in vain. So I don't want to labor in vain. I want to give to people like you. And that's why you're here, obviously. So we want to talk about our relationship and dating. The first thing we want to talk about is the process of relationship and get and find someone uh, and become a partner, become a life partner. The million dollar question is, how do I know that this is the person that God has for me? How do I know God's will for my life? We're not going to go into all of that. One thing we're gonna say is that uh, there are times you can be in a relationship, you can find the right person, and you can do all the right thing, and yet things don't go the right way. Uh, Lisa, tell them a little bit about your dating experience.
Well, I think, as you mentioned, there are different levels of dating. You have that time where you're completely committed to the Lord, sold out, and you're
Can
doing.
can I don't want
Oh,
to stop
sure.
you. Let me say this before we continue. We just got married, okay? We've been married for a year now. Okay,
Yes.
and you look at oh yeah, I've been married for just 1 year. What y'all know about me? We've been married before. I've been married for 13 years, and she was
The same, 13
all
years.
right.
Yes.
So, and we want to tell you what happened that we got divorced and now got married. So let's go to the beginning. Okay, go ahead, baby.
Yes, definitely. So in dating, as my husband mentioned, there are times where you come together, you've done everything right, and you follow the Lord and you see how things go along the way. But then you have those other instances where many of us deal with, where we've kind of taken our own step or stride towards relationships and marriages, and where we've been more focused on emotion rather than that purpose and God's will. And in my experience previously, as Daniel mentioned, we have both been married. And in my previous walk, I think in the dating cycle, especially at that time, going into marriage, what I did was move in emotion. I looked at things now and looking back. I looked at things that were going on in my environment and atmosphere, and I attached to an individual that showed me an escape from those things. And sometimes we tie our people to the things they represent, not necessarily tying to the individual, but we connect to what they represent. And at that time, he represented an escape to me, a change from my current environment. And so in dating, I think at that time, a lot of things that I used as my motivation was more the thought processes of what I wanted to do, what I wanted to change. Not so much as going directed by God. Although I was saved, I was committed to God and in the church. When it came to that, I allowed myself to be led by emotion. And oftentimes we have a situation where we make decisions emotionally and then we try to include God in afterwards. And I think that was the case that I had where, I wanted God to come in and rectify a situation or foundation that I created. And I wanted Him to make a solid foundation over the shaky one that I decided to determine. And from that is where I saw the challenges that we will get into as we go along.
All right. So, well, as she said in her previous marriage, she saw somebody not necessarily from God, and considered that situation as an escape. She could do whatever she wanted to do, and it ended up in a divorce. Okay. Well, for me, it's different. For me, it was quite the opposite. For me, it's like many of you out there, just like many of you today will see whatever situation you might be in or find yourself in later as an escape, or do whatever you think you want to do. For me, it was different. For me, was the guy. I was the guy that holy guy, the church guy, the super safe guy. Dating and pray and seek the Lord. And if I didn't know God, if I wasn't sure that God has spoken to you or me, we were not talking. So super save and believe God, find the right one. Yes, the right one. And now we started dating and having great relationship and praying. We're not touching. I don't do nothing like that. Obstinate. Oh, I was the guy. I was the guy who married as a virgin. Oh, we didn't touch. We didn't do none of that. Okay. So we play by the rule. Everything. We did everything. We went to church, we pray, we God was the center, but yet it didn't work out. On a good day, she decided to get up and leave the family and abandon me. We had two children. Um, the little boy was 6 months, and the girl was 4. Yes, and all of a sudden, I'm here, a single dad, and it was devastating. So what do you do after you've done all the right thing and yet it didn't work out? You get upset at God and say, God, look what's going on here. I did everything and yet things didn't work out. So it was devastating. So now you go back into the dating scenes. You start dating, and it's a challenge when you start dating again as a divorcee.
Absolutely. I think one thing is you're rediscovering yourself, and a lot of people miss that part of the divorce process. You've gone a long time. For us, like we mentioned, both 13 years of marriage each. When you spend so much time married, you become identified with that role. Your life has been built around that. So, just in and of itself, stepping out of that realm and now rediscovering who you are as an individual, no longer being the spouse, but now being single. What does that mean? What does my life look like now? Just going through that process in and of itself is a lot. But now transitioning from that to saying, okay, now I'm getting back out into this world that I haven't been a part of in over a decade.
It was a different
Yes.
decade. Now it's a different one.
Yes, what are the rules
Yeah.
now? How do we engage with people, whether it be simple things like the technologies and
By the
social
way,
media?
when I was dating previously, we didn't internet.
No, there's no
No social
and
media that you writing. People check your writing and
no
they don't like.
swiping,
No,
right? None of these
no
things.
DM.
Exactly. So the thought, how do I reintegrate myself into this? How do I get myself ready for it? And how I think most importantly, how do I begin to trust again, allow myself to be vulnerable again to this environment and possibly allowing somebody into my intimate space again? It's a lot to take in.
Yeah, it's a lot because now you're in a different spirit of dating because now it's not just me. It's I'm a single father, and I can tell you something. Yeah, I'm pointing to you. Y'all so messed up and jacked up, y'all women out there. So many of you see men with children. You got to respect men with children, okay? Okay, yes, I said it because I was a single father, and sometimes I would go on a date, and you know what? Some of them would tell me, "Oh, it's a noble thing to do." As he said, "I admire you." Oh my God. I admire you, and then they won't call me again. I mean, come on. They won't call. Call. They don't respond, and some of them would come in because they want the children, not me. Some of them want me, but not the children. But some of them want me and the children, but they're not exactly what I'm looking for.
And that's why we have to pay attention to, as they say, the warning signs or the red flags. Sometimes we see these little things when we connect with people to realize they may not be the one for us. They may be a person that's nice and kind overall, but don't fit into our overall purpose. And those are the things that we have to be mindful of when you go out into the dating scene, keeping your eyes and ears open, having that discernment to look for those clues and know whether this person is going to add value into your life or not.
Well, dating is important because and when you're single, you go on a lot of dates. Can I hear amen or ouch? Which one? And you have to spend a lot of money and a lot of time. And if you are a gentleman as me, then you pay for your dates. I pay for all my dates. Can I hear amen? I paid for all my dates, and but at some point, you want to make sure that the other person is paying too. But sometimes people don't seem to understand that. But we don't want to talk about that. We're talking about this. So, as a single father, it was extremely difficult. I won't lie to you. That's why I encourage single fathers and single parents. So I know how it feels to be a single father, to be a single parent. Period. I know how it feels to be a single parent without child support, without any support from anyone. So and now you have to go on dates, and now you can't seem to find the right one. So at times you got to step back, and for y'all that are ready to go on dates, you got to step back and let God help you. Don't push it. Don't try to work it out yourself. You have to be intentional. You have to get yourself situated. You have to make yourself marriage material. You got to make yourself ready, prepare yourself, but you got to allow God to take you to the process. Some of you, you need to deal with yourself first. There are so many things that you need to work on yourself. And some of you, you're just not ready. You're just not ready. You have to work on yourself, take care of yourself. Sometimes you have to work physique. Yeah, you got to do all of that so that when he come, he can see all that. I don't know what that means, but he said all that. Maybe go ahead because I can keep going on and on and on.
Well, when you mentioned preparation and talking about children, I was also in that position at the point of divorce. My son was 12 at the time. And so, being a single parent, it's a crucial role in your child's life. One, when you get divorced, they go through that process too, and helping them recover and become whole in that process, and showing them unconditional love and allowing them to know that you are there for them and they are prioritized is important, but especially going into dating mode. I think many of us sometimes in stepping into dating, you neglect that part of your children. And dating is a holistic process. You're not only dating for yourself, but for your children. this person may be kind to me, I may enjoy them, but how will they be around my children? Will they provide covering? Will they be a support? Do they show the morals and values that I want my children to have? And that was something very important to me in dating. I believe your relationship should be that reflection or model that you want your children to follow and grow up to aspire to. Whatever they see in you, that's what they feel is the norm. That's what they want to grow into. And so it's important in the dating process, in your preparation, as my husband mentioned, not only do you get yourself physically ready, emotionally ready, mentally ready, but also you make sure in your vetting process, whatever that may be, and as you're seeking God, you're making sure that your children are considered as well, because this person will become part of their lives. And so in the dating process, we have to be careful because sometimes what we're seeking, although many of us say, we want our Boaz, we want, this great person in our lives. Sometimes what we really want is companionship and not marriage. And there's a difference. Many of us can get companionship, but marriage takes work, it takes sacrifice, it takes flexibility, it takes preparation. And so all of those things must be considered as you get ready for it.
It must, because then you ready now to have a blended family. Let's talk about blended family very quick. Blended family is a challenge because now, for example, us, we are a blended family. I came into the marriage with two children, and she came in with one. So before you even go out there to date, you have to prepare your children. You have to prepare your children or child and yourself, prepare them mentally and
Yes.
and kind of uh, give them instruction on a daily basis so that they can be prepared. So when you find someone, they're ready to blend in. But if they're not prepared, it can become a serious challenge. You have to let them know that this is how it will be. Somebody will come into my life and it'll come into our lives, and this is the role of this person. This is the role of this is what your role will be. So you will have to prepare your child or children, and you have to prepare yourself because all of a sudden now that you're married, you are a mother or a father of three. You was just a mother of one or a father of one now, and some of you don't have children, and all of a sudden you are instant father or instant mother, and you have to treat the other child like your own, and it's a challenge. And what if they don't listen to you? What if they don't respect you? That's why during the dating process, you want to check all these things. Can I live with this person? Okay, I love this lady, I love this man, but can I live with their child? Or can I live with their children? I'm not sure if I can live with it. You have to check all these things so that you're sure, because once you get in, that's what you're gonna deal with. So give yourself enough space and time to check and make sure that you can deal with
Wait,
these
say it again?
people or the other person.
Oh wow, I completely forgot. Thank
Can
you.
somebody mute everybody mute their side so we can focus here? So it's very, very important to do that. Make sure that you prepare yourself and your children.
Absolutely. When you mention blended families, it's very interesting. And times when we look at it, the consideration is okay, I'm thinking about how I bring mine and yours together and make it blended, make it cohesive. And you mentioned something, the thought process, which is often the way we approach things, we'll say in those instances, how do we treat them like our own? And I've learned that it truly becomes an intentional work. When you look at blended families, what you're looking to do is not merely blend mine and yours, but unify where it becomes ours. And until you get to the process where I'm no longer merely just treating them like my own, but I take ownership and say, no, she is my own, or he is my own. And I'm not just giving the treatment, but this has become my life. When I see this young person, I see my child, I see my daughter, I see my son, and my conversation begins to change like that. My behavior and mannerism shift where, again, although you did not birth them, you take on that position and that mindset. It begins to create that dynamic where that child understands, okay, this person loves me. This person also brings an unconditional love and support and trust and spending time with them. That's something that I'm so thankful for in our marriage when we came together, one, having the conversation, as Daniel mentioned, with the children, first with each other on what our expectations were, what a blended family means, what that definition is. And from day one, he always mentioned that. I don't see it as yours and mine, it's ours. When we come together, we are one family. And
That's
setting
right.
that foundation is so important. You want to make sure you're with somebody who has the same vision and values as you, and not only in word, but in action. When we came together, he made it his business to spend quality time, with not just with his son and daughter, but my son, and say, these are our children. When we had meetings together, we have family dinners, we have family prayer with all of us. They would spend time one-on-one doing
Hmm.
things out on the road, whether it's to go to Home Depot or just have a conversation about life and work and different things. And so that's important, creating that environment where the children know, I'm taking a personal investment in you, not just in your mom or your dad, but you are equally as important to me. And I'm trying to build a love and establishment and long-term relationship with you is so important.
Yes. So we can talk a lot about blended family because
Yes,
it's no longer about you when you divorce. It's about the children. So the children need two
absolutely.
things. Two things. Then the
Mhm.
two things that they need is love and attention. You have to give them the love and the attention that they deserve
Mhm.
because you want to create a family for them. Just like you, it's not their problem. It's not their fault. It's not their. They didn't cause the divorce. That's your headache. You need to create that environment for them. So I want to switch gear here quickly and talk about a very, very important topic. And I think you all will be blessed. As y'all, if y'all be blessed, wave your hands, even if I can't see you. But give me a thumbs up
All
if
right,
y'all
I see
receiving
the
something.
waves.
Give me a thumbs up, a thumbs up, a thumbs up if you are receiving something so far. Well, I want to talk about a soul tie, and
Mm.
I'm pretty sure that this will help a lot of you.
Oh wow, yeah, soul ties. What a deep topic. Something that we hear oftentimes, but don't really know the meaning of it. And that's something I think is important as you move forward and you prepare your life, whether it be, like I say, your personal
Mhm.
advancement, especially relationships. Soul ties is so important. But baby, I'm gonna let you handle that. Jump
Okay.
on.
Okay, I didn't see a lot of thumbs up. That means not some people are not receiving. Okay, well, what is soul tie? Let me jump into it right away. What is soul tie? Because maybe some of you have heard this already, and you have heard this in many places. What is soul tie? We have to understand what this is in order for us to even talk about this subject. It's a tie that is binding us uh, to a person, a tie that is binding us to a person, and we either a person that we either want to or don't want to be with or bound to. Whether it's and after that, it's a tie that's hampering our effort of moving ahead in life, whether it's consciously or subconsciously. So this tie is the tie that is tying you together, soul tie. In the Bible, there are so many areas where we see that the Bible talks about soul ties. One of the area of soul tie is sex. you know Sex is something, spiritual, it's something emotional, it's something physically. So by having sex with someone, it make you become one with that person. You become one physically, because it's one person enter into the other person. So you become one with the person, intertwined. Okay, you become one because you enter into the other person, and the other person enters into you. So now, because you do that, you are one. You make yourself one physically, and emotionally, you are one too. And not only emotionally, but also spiritually. So once that has taken place, there is a tie already. And that's why because there are so many components are working at that time. Once that has taken place, there is a hormone that is called oxytocin. This oxytocin hormone is a small little tiny hormone like the size of a pea. So this hormone is way down at the base of our brain. So once we connect with someone, this hormone releases. So this hormone releases, that's why it's called the cuddling or the love hormone. So this hormone is there to keep you together. So once you having sex or have sex with someone, that hormone is being released. So and now once you that's the first time, but the second time now, once you see that person or think of that person, that hormone is being released.
So yeah, I love the fact that you brought the scientific part into it, because sometimes when we hear soul ties, people see it as this spiritual phrase that we use all the time, talking just about biblical things. But there has been scientific research to show you that soul ties is a real thing.
It's a real thing.
I remember reading an article one time that mentioned when a person is intimate with somebody else, their DNA actually connects with that person and remains in them up to years afterwards. That person is still living within you. Their biological functions, that DNA resonates and stays within years. And they said you wonder sometimes, well, why 2, 3 years later this person randomly comes to your mind, or there's a thought. These are neurological functions. That person is literally living in you, inside of you, for years after a possible encounter.
I call this the witch. It's like a witch sprinkles something on you. It's coming. That's where you get all the butterflies for no reason. You feel your heart, you getting weak. Your knees are shaky. Your knees are weak. Oxytocin. It is real. This is real. The Bible says that we are fighting against invisible enemy. An invisible enemy is what we're fighting against. So that enemy is there, but you can't see it. You're fighting. This is spiritual, because the spiritual effect that this thing has, it binds you to the person. So it binds you to the person so much so that here's a few things we have to look at about soul ties, a few symptoms. You become obsessive. The obsession of wanting to be around the person and with the person, the obsession, of being with that person. During daytime, you constantly think about this person because it's so ingrained in you, because oxytocin is being released. Sometimes you dream about this person. You might even have wet dreams about this person. You wake up, oops, I'm wet. So yes, are there kids in this thing? If you're kids, go to bed if you're kids. So all of a sudden now you feel like you're wet, and all of a sudden you think about this person. You become, if it's a man, you become stiff, hard, ready to go. If it's a woman, you become puffy. I don't know what that means, but I'm just saying. So, but here's the thing: those are those are imagination that you can have, imagination that comes and go when you hear the name or the voice of the person. So because why? There is a soul tie.
And you know, sweetie, sometimes it gets so serious, and I will
Mhm.
say to us ladies especially, you can find yourself sometimes in committed relationships with individuals who have vowed no more than friendship to you. But yet you're sitting now fully committed to that individual, sold out to them, when you haven't even established relationship and don't even realize that this is hindering you from actually seeing who God has for you and being open to embrace
That's
it.
right. We coming to that. Yeah, she excited about this. But
Oh,
here's
yes.
the thing. Here's the thing about soul tie. The soul tie is so strong, and if you don't do anything about it, that thing gonna kill you. That thing gonna destroy your life, because soul tie is also, we cannot talk about soul tie and not talk about platonic friend. You see, there I love these great philosophers such as Plato. You know, I love them. Socrates or Socrates
Mm.
or Plato. I love this great philosopher. But this Greek philosopher Plato, he he said in his view, in his finding, saw that men and women that hang out all day together, they love each other, they build a relationship, but they not having sex, they not in a relationship, but they just friends. He said that according to Plato, he said this is my view on it. It's Platonic. Platonic means the idea of Plato. This is Platonic, and Platonic means two people that are endeavor to build spiritual ideas, to build emotional connection apart from sex. So, but these two people can be so close, and there is also a benefit about platonic relationship because people can be friends and help each other. But you have to understand these people are also very selfish. Oh, I'm touching on some people's toe. As a matter of fact, I'm stamping on some people's toes right now, because the platonic relationship goes deep, because now you friend from what is platonic relationship is friend from the opposite sex. It's not your guy friend, it's your friend girl. You know, so you are a man and you have a woman as your friend. But now you have to understand that this person, your platonic friends, is very important to you, and you are very important to your platonic friend. So your platonic friend can be tricky because they can be jealous. Because now we not dating. Now I found someone to date. So now the platonic friend may not like that, or the platonic friend, even if they like that, they may disregard that. They may not respect the relationship that you are trying to build with someone else. So they interfere and they don't care, because remember, we are friends and we were friends before. So I still need your emotional support. I still need your spiritual support. So I don't care what you're doing there, but we are friends. So, and they take ownership. So that's why when you are in a relationship, or when you enter into a new relationship, you have to make sure that you and your new partner agree to have a friend like that. I don't see the need to have the friend like all these other friends, and if you are in a committed relationship and still having a platonic relationship, does your new partner approve of that relationship? And why is that relationship so important to you? Come on, answer that question. So you have to know that we can talk more about that. As you know that our time is running. We have a couple of minutes where I want to finish this. So there are a couple of things about soul ties. So platonic friends, yes, they can be soul ties. So, what? How do you resolve this issue? How do you break with the soul tie? First of all, number one, acknowledge that it's there. You have to acknowledge. Stop ignoring the issue. There is a soul tie. There is someone that is hindering you from moving forward into a new relationship. You dating this person, and you still look at this person like, I wish he was like Henry. I wish she was like Anna. Is there any Anna here? Okay. I wish it was like Anne, but they are not. So you still tie. Some of you are not even marriage material yet. That's another teaching on itself. So first of all, acknowledge it's there, and then you have to take action. Take action to make sure that you let go of that addiction. You let go of that of this person. The second thing, decide what you're going to do about it. You have to do something about it. You have to make a concrete decision right there and then. Make a concrete decision. Say, this has to go. It's hard, but you got to say goodbye. It's hard. This was the person. This was the oxy that release constantly on you. The tocin that releases on you. But I gotta let it go. That the third thing that you have to forgive yourself, forgive the person. You have to let go, forgive. Say, I know it's hard, but I got to cut this. Because then and if you're in my conference, you'll hear this a lot. Then number four, and we have 1 minute, literally 1 minute to number four is what I call last cry. In every relationship, your heart has been broken. You cry. Last cry, there's something that I've developed. It's the cry where you cry the last time for that. You fill the blank. I'm safe. I can't fill the blank for you. But it's the last time that you will cry for that. That's the ugly cry. You know the ugly cry, the real ugly one. when you cry and you literally shake it, and that time is the time where you have my permission to go outside and hit the brick wall. Don't hit the wall in your home, because that wall, your wall inside of your house is called sheetrock or drywall. So if you punch it, you get a hole in it. So make sure you don't do that. And cry. You can cry. Cry the last time for that person, and that means you will never cry anymore. And the last thing, point number 5, you break the tie. You break it. You finally said, I remove myself out of this equation physically, spiritually, and emotionally. That's it. God bless you.
Oh, well, we got to make sure we cover some things in you getting ready for this next level, whether you're preparing for marriage, preparing for relationships, whatever it may be. Make sure that you are taking time to seek wholeness. It is very important. Until you are whole, you cannot bring yourself successfully into another relationship, whether it be dating or marriage. A lot of times we don't take that time for ourselves, and you're not going to be successful in any relationship until you learn how to be alone. And when I say alone, be single, be content with yourself, and have those moments of seasons of just you and God, taking time to understand where you are, who you are, and what you are not. It's very important for you to have those real conversations with yourself, do that self-reflection, and understand, this is where I'm at, these are my needs, these are the places where I need to develop. That's because right. Your life is continuous development. So taking the time to do that. One thing with us, in order for me to get here where we are today, I had to have what I called that Abraham and Isaac moment. It wasn't the fact that I had to let go of everything, but I had to show God in my heart that I was okay to let it go. If I wasn't going to be with anybody, if I didn't speak to this person again, whatever it may be, I was willing to let go of the phone calls, to let go of the past, to cut those soul ties, not just in word, but in action, indeed. And once I got to that point where God saw that I was okay, if this is the point that I'm at, and God, if you have chosen me to be single and just be a missionary for you or serve your purpose, I'm going to be okay with that. And when I say take the moment to be alone, it's not to get to the point where we say, oh, well, we don't need anybody. It's just me and God and I don't need a man. No, we all need somebody in our lives. We need that village, that companionship in whatever way it may be. But saying to God that you come first and you direct my footsteps, and I will let go of all my preconceived notions. Sometimes you have to get to the point where you change your definition of love. Some of us have spent years seeing love in only being in a certain package, whether it be a certain height, a certain look, a certain location, that
That's
love
right.
is only in this way, or success for me is only in this way. I had to get to a point where I said, God, I erase all my preconceived notions, redefine love for me, redefine
And he did. He
everything.
sure
And he
did.
did, yes.
Praise the
And
Lord.
for me, that meant leaving Florida and what I knew. I was there for 20 years and I left the work and the friends, and it meant coming to Georgia and starting off new and not knowing anybody here and not even knowing the job or career, what I was going to do, but trusting God that my, as they say, latter will be better than the former. And he
As
has
you can
done that.
see,
Yes.
all this can handle all this.
It has it, and he has done an amazing job. And during my time of that seeking wholeness, that's when I wrote my book. I didn't
I
mention,
got the book
yes,
too. But Lydia
we
said
can
we're
do
gonna
that.
answer the questions. I think
Yes.
tell us when
So
to stop.
yes.
It's time to stop,
And
and we're
she has
gonna.
told us we will answer questions, but just so you know, when I created that devotional book, it's
Yeah, let me
called
grab it
From
quickly.
Ravage to Resilience, and my baby's going to be nice enough to grab it for you. That was a time where a girlfriend of mine and I just said we have to seek time for wholeness. We've spent so much time trying to invest in the lives of others, whether it was men we were dating, our children, everything else. We were giving to everything, but we didn't take the time to give to ourselves. So that's when I created this book with her, a book of prayers, a book of seeking God to become our better selves. And in this process, as you'll see in the book, it mentions being single at the time, but by the time this book was published and went out, all of that had changed. And it was because of surrendering myself to God. So always keep that in your mind as well.
All right. Well, let us know when to answer the questions. Those that have questions,
Yes,
we'd be
we're
more than
turning it
happy.
over to Lydia now to take the realm and let us know what's next.
Are you there? Anybody? We can go on though. We can keep going. Is Lydia there?
And thank you, Tori. We see your message. We're glad you received from this.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay. We do see one question here. Okay.
You mean we can answer the questions now? Or we
I think,
is it a break or?
well, I think we can.
Okay.
I see one question. What advice would you have for setting boundaries in platonic relationships?
Okay.
You want to go into that?
You can start.
Okay, well, in setting boundaries, I think it's important for you to know, first and foremost, what you want out of that relationship. As I mentioned before, it's important with anybody that I deal with. I always look at three things. Does this person bring personal, professional, or spiritual value to my life? And everybody, I mean, everybody in your life should touch upon one of those. And if you are blessed, you will have somebody who brings all three. But in any relationship, you want to make sure that's key.
Okay.
First.
It all depends on how old you are. And it's because this is very important. Boundaries, if you want to enter into a relationship, you want, if you're single, I'm not sure if you're single or you're dating or you're married. But one thing, if you are in a relationship, you have to understand that your partner approves your platonic relationship, because it doesn't make sense if just you as you are, because remember, your platonic relationship friend is the person that you share everything with. There's nothing, it's your best friend, okay, of the opposite sex. But now you have your husband, so there is some problem there, because now who is your best friend right now? I mean, your best friend, because what you share with your platonic friend doesn't mean you're going to share that with your husband. So you got to decide whether you want to maintain that or cut it off. What I suggest, this is me. I don't think personally, I don't think it's such a wise idea to have a platonic friend on your own without your husband or without your partner. So why can't that friend be our friend?
Well,
Why?
that was going to be my point.
Yes.
To say, in looking at platonic friendships, if for some reason or another you feel as though your partner can't know about that friendship or shouldn't know, then you probably shouldn't have that friendship. Whoever you engage with, your spouse or partner should be able to know about that person, meet that person, connect with that
Yeah,
person.
because what is so deep that you have to share with that platonic friend that you can't share with your spouse or with your partner or with even the person that you date? What is so deep? And usually, let me tell you something about platonic friend. Usually, some of these platonic friend can turn sexual too. And usually, some of these friends can they are there. This is the danger of platonic friend. They're there before you had your first relationship. They're during the relationship. Now you break up. They're there, and they come back in the new. So you carry them with you. It's a soul tie. If you have a friend, a platonic friend that's been there from day one, and you've been through so many relationships, and they still there, maybe they are a soul tie. Maybe you need to learn to drop some people though if you want to move on with your life. Let's go on to the next question. Is there a next question?
Now, I hope we've answered
I hope
that
I answered the question because
Mhm.
I just want to I don't want to take too much time on it so I can answer other questions. Go ahead, other questions, please go ahead. No more questions? Y'all sure? I guess we're so good to be sharing. No more no question at all.
I hope so. If there are no more questions, hopefully after this, you
Somebody,
should.
a question is
Oh,
coming in.
okay. Well, I was going to say you should be able to have
Oh,
our
I'm sorry. They
contacts as
typing. They
well.
not talking.
Yes. So our books, again, my husband's book, Conquering the Spirit of Jezebel, you can find on Amazon. Also, my book, From Ravage to Resilience, you can find on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, different book outlets. When you see my book at the time, it is written by Lisa Marie. I had my first and middle name. Funny enough, at the time when I wrote the book, even in being single, it's for some reason got imprinted in my heart. Don't put your last name. This is something where you just need to identify with you, not the last name, which was my former married name, but this is about you, that individual. And by the end of this book, my last name changed. So it worked out well. But both books you can find on Amazon. And like I said, there are other book outlets as well.
Yes, you can find them on
Yes.
Amazon.com. Just log in and then you can order your copy. You're gonna learn a lot, trust me.
Yes.
Other questions, please. So I think a question is coming in as well.
Oh, okay. What is your advice to a single woman waiting on a godly man, but seems there is no answer from God? I know that feeling well. There's times where, we feel like we're sitting, we're waiting. And in some seasons, you feel like I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to do. What is happening? Why am I not hearing anything? And I think that is the time where we have to have an emotional shift. Sometimes we don't realize how much we've become consumed with that want, where we allow almost the thought of the relationship or finding that person to come above our true purpose. And our true purpose is to serve God. He allows the ability to enhance that purpose by bringing a great companion and spouse into our life, by giving us the careers and the different things. All of those things are secondary to serving him. They just act as enhancements. And so getting to that point of shift, and that was one thing for me, where I had to shift to let go of not just always focusing on that particular prayer, but as this conference is saying, going into preparation mode. Okay, God, I'm going to shift from that. How do I become my best me. Now I want to take the time to say, how do I learn you more? How do I become more intimate with you? And for me, one significant shift was that I thought about all the time that I spent, praying to God about various relationships and the dating, praying about the right person and what they would bring to my life and all of these things. But I thought about it. How much time did I invest in my relationship with God? Did I court him? Did I date him? Did I try to know him as well as I tried to know some of the past men in my life? Did I take as much time to study him and get to that point of unconditional love? And sometimes we have to have that shift where we say, okay, God, this season is about you. I'm going to take my mind off of that and work on being my best me. And you'll see during that time, many people say it and we never take it seriously. They always say somebody shows up in your life when you're not looking and when you don't expect it. And that was exactly my case. There was one day I was at the hairdresser and I was telling my hairdresser, I said, God has shown me that I have to redefine all my thought processes, whether it be love and relationships. I have to let all that go. I have to get to a point where I am seeking him and I'm getting to a place where it's all about the intimacy with him. And at that very moment that I said it, that's when I got the text that came in from my now husband. Didn't expect to have a conversation. And it just so happened he was in Florida that day and just said, hey, I'm here, and asked if I was available to go out to dinner. And it was amazing to see at that moment. Sometimes, again, you just have to get to the point to let go. And even in that point where I agreed to dinner, even in going in my prayer, it was like, God, I'm in a place where I am free in thought. I'm not going wondering, okay, I'm going to anticipate, God is this person and jumping into that kind of thought process. No, this is a time to enjoy, to talk about you, to talk about life, to enjoy yourself, and let you lead and guide every step of my life.
And I think it's important too, though. If you're looking for a godly man, are you a godly woman? And we're looking for a Boaz, right? Are we a Ruth? You can't look for Boaz if you're not a Ruth. You have to be aware of that. You have to be a marriage material. You have to be ready. Not everybody out there are marriage material.
And we will say, you do have to be, not, as we say, careful sometimes of what you pray for, because in praying for that thing, you equally have to pray as much that you're prepared for it, because to much is given, much is required.
And the problem is that sometimes you pray for somebody, but can you recognize the person when the person arrives? It's a problem because you pray and you already have a preconceived image of how the person should look like. The person should look this and this and this. And now the person show up and you don't even recognize it because you have a different picture of the person. But not only that, if you have more questions, please send a question. Let me say this about that. Sometimes there are two things. Guys, you're receiving a lot today. There are two things. There's a standard and there's a bar. There's a difference between standard and a bar. The standard is your belief, your faith, and your moral. You don't move away from that. You stay there. But there is something that we call a bar, that your requirements. And sometimes men and women, sometimes we can have a standard that is good, a godly one, but we have a bar that is so high that some people won't even bother to come close because it's way too high. Sometimes I'm looking at, what in the world is she talking about? How am I going to reach there? I'm not going to even try. So sometimes you can chase people away even before they come. So in other words, you fire them before you hire them.
Yes. Well, great points. And we do have another question. Does God tell you that a particular person is your spouse? Did that happen?
No, God don't work like that. No, that's not how God works. God don't give you a wife God don't give you a spouse. He present the spouse. But now you have to be aware of that. So God won't come to you, because when things go sour, you're going to come back to God just like Adam. But you give me that wife. But it's your fault because you, no. God will present that person. He'll present the person, and now you can make a choice. You have a free will. Don't be blaming everything on God. God said, I ain't got nothing to do with that. You make your choice. I gave you the guideline already. Work with the guideline. Someone that loves God, someone that respects God. Remember, I did all that, and yet things didn't work out. It's not God, but people change. So that's why love is not enough to carry and sustain the relationship. No, love is everything. We love. I love you. I love. No. Cut that.
Well, I think for me, personally, well, I agree. I think that I itself will give you a particular person's name or say this is it. But in my case, I noticed during my journey, as I told you, when I got to this stage in life, everything had to be led and directed by God. I mean, I prayed about everything that I did. I wanted Him to guide my thoughts, my actions. I made sure that I was following God's steps. And what I saw in our relationship, even from the beginning, was that God was answering my prayers through His speech and conversations. Everything that I prayed about that He didn't even know of would come forth in His responses to me. I remember in the beginning, at one point, I shared where I was in life. You know, I said, the next person that I'm intimate with is my husband. I am sold out for God. This is my stance. This is where I'm at. And he was, of course, in agreement with that. And he believed in that, and commended me for being there in life. There was a point where I asked him, I said, okay, you know, you're explaining your thoughts on what you would like out of this. But, you know, I said kind of jokingly, I was like, but what did God tell you? Did God tell you that I was for you? And his response was, you know, if there's questions, let's come together and pray. Let's both take time and seek God in this and pray and see how He directs us, whether He directs us to stay in a friendship, whether He directs us to go more into a relationship. Let's come together in unification. You can pray, I can pray, we can pray jointly and on our own, and we come back and have the conversation. And even that in and of itself showed me that this was different from the ordinary conversations that I had in the past, and everything that happened from that point. Like I said, I would seek God in my questions, and then randomly in the middle of that, He may call me with an encouraging word. And I saw from that God was showing that alignment and giving me the peace to know that His purpose was in us.
Let me tell you something. God don't. Here's how God works. You see what God did with Adam and Eve? After Adam named all the animals, Adam actually named all the animals. And he looked among the animals. He couldn't find himself a mate. He couldn't. So God put him to sleep. The first open heart surgery, God gave him the anesthesia, and God is the first anesthesiologist. Put him to sleep, and he took a rib, and he formed out of the rib, he formed a woman. Whoa, man. So Adam was asleep. So and he formed the woman, and he placed the woman next to Adam. So when Adam woke up, Adam said, whoa, man, that's where they got the name woman. So Adam saw the woman, and God didn't say, Adam, this is your woman. Adam said, well, this is flesh of my flesh and bone of my bone. Finally, all these animals and these monkeys, they look close, but they don't look like me. This look like me. It's bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. So Adam took this wife and bring it back to God. So God won't come and said, okay, yeah, this is a dream. This is God talking. Oh, I brought you this beautiful woman. If somebody come to you and said, I saw you came down from heaven as an angel, run, because God don't give people angels. No, I'll tell you why. God doesn't do that. Angels, I don't want an angel. No, I want an angels. God, angels are there to serve. I want an angel to serve me, to protect me. Yes, I want all that. I pray that. But as a wife, nope. I don't want an angel. I want an angel to stay far away from me when it comes to relationship. Because here are the thing. This is the situation with the angel. An angel is an angel. Oh, some of you missed that. Let me say it again. An angel is an angel. They have nothing. I mean, like nothing. There's no female nor male. It's this, they have nothing down there. Nothing. So an angel is an angel. So I don't want angels. So if somebody said God dropped you, dropped them from heaven as an angel to you, you fill the blank. You run.
I think you will see certain confirmations. For instance, one thing has stood out for me in any time that I spent with Daniel during our dating period, whether it was time in person, time on the phone, whatever it may be. I never left a moment from him questioning where we were as a couple, what his intent is. I was always clear and secure of where he was, what he wanted, what he didn't want. And that is important. When you find yourself continuously questioning, where are we, what's happening, and you don't know where that person is, that's something to think about. And that was something that I did not experience with him. He knew every step of the way where he was, what his intent was, and he always made me secure in who I was to him, what my priority was, and his intent for us. So I think that's important as well. And to understanding being unequally yoked. We hear about that sometimes, and it's important to know that unequal yoke goes beyond your religious status. That can be in morals and values, in our mindset, in our processes. And that was something that I saw with us too, that we were always aligned in our purpose, in the plans that we had in our lives, in the way we wanted our children raised, everything, even professionally, our ambitions, our goals, our things,
Yeah.
everything was aligned. And those are the things that God will use to show you your partnership.
Let me say something about that. God will show you this too, because you can be, when it comes to professionally, being professional, you, if you dating someone, you want someone that at least at your level or close to. It's okay to date potential. Yes, it's okay. Uh, you want people to start working on their dreams, on their plans. You don't. You don't. I mean, there's not. I don't have nothing against with someone that uh, works at McDonald's, but you don't want to be working in some type of big type of law firm and he is in McDonald's, unless that's a side job or a part-time job and he's still going to school. But if that's the end goal, then you have to keep in mind, I'm not saying that you can't do that, but you have to keep in mind that you can't come back and throw that in his face that, oh, but you're a McDonald's. I'm not. No, you knew when you met me that my vision is McDonald's. So, and I even brought you some burger at home too. So you knew my vision. So why you threw that in my face? So you got to keep in mind that it's good to be at the same level, or if not too far from each other, equally yoked. They got the Bible got that word from planters who go out there and plow his ground, and they need two cows or two bullock. And sometimes there were some of these farmers that will take a bullock and a donkey. So a bullock is this high and a donkey is this low. So then they would put the yoke on their neck. So, and it will be unequal. One would be higher and the other one would be lower. So by taking them to go through the whole field to plow the ground, so one would be suffering. Both will be suffering because the yoke is killing this one. Is too heavy on the lower one, and the top one, the yoke is pulling on it. So both are suffering in an unequally yoked relationship. So it is indeed, it will become a yoke. Is there any
And I
other?
think it's important to note, just ending on that, that when God is bringing you a spouse, for men and women alike, understand that God is bringing you a spouse, not a project. Whoever comes into your life is to challenge you to be greater than your current self, to bring you above, not bring you down. Or it's, again, for you all to create that best manifestation of yourselves and be on a level playing field in order to do so. Another question that we have, asking us to speak to the children's experience with our blended family, as some may experience that.
Well, the children, blended family is very important. Uh, you have to prepare the children. I remember when I was single for 10 years, okay? For 10 years. So I didn't just leave the relationship and enter into another one. I had to take my time. And sometimes my daughter would come home and say, Daddy, I talked to my teacher for a sleepover. So my teacher would come for a sleepover. And I said, baby, nah, she's not gonna come for a sleepover. So she couldn't see that, she was too young. But the experience is something that you have to do the work prior entering into the relationship, which is to prepare them for a blended family. You have to, that's the key. Once you prepare them for a blended family, I used to tell my kids, hey, look, I am trusting God for a mommy for you guys. I didn't send a girlfriend or a just a wife, but a mommy for them. I want them to experience that family, that wholesome family of a mother and a father. So I prepared them. So when we enter, and I had to check on her, make sure that she will be able to become the mother of my children. It's not about the children here, it's about the person, it's about the two adults here. Once you get that good, they take their responsibilities, then you'll find. For me, she had to be the mother of my children, of our children, from day one. And I had to be the father of our children from day one. So it's something that I took this 10 years to prepare my children. And so when we entered into the relationship, they she was the mom and I am the dad.
I think something important to note too for both of us in spending those years of preparation, what is so crucial for children is that during those preparation seasons or those dating seasons, that you are not bringing everybody in front of your children. You have to be very careful in who you bring in front of them.
Because that will shape the children and shape
Exactly.
their
And
experience.
so if children see people coming in and out of your life, when you get to the
Is there a
point,
song like that, coming in and out of my life?
it may be, I
There's a
don't know.
song. There's
But
a
when
song.
you have those experiences, if children see people coming in and out, and then you get to a point where you try to tell them somebody is serious, sometimes they won't take that seriously because they've seen inconsistencies or they've seen how other people have come in and out.
Too
And
many
then
traffic.
they-
Too many traffic.
And
Yeah.
you create
Yeah.
defense mechanisms in them. So you have to be so careful to make sure, and for both of us, I think we had that mindset. We only brought the individual that we said, okay, we've already established here that we know we are building long-term and building a future and trying to build a life together. At that point, that's when we're bringing people in front of our children,
Yeah.
not in the dating process. So you have to be so careful with that.
But it's funny how she asked that question about the children experience, and then we can usually answer that children experience. It's about the adult experience.
Yes.
That's what it is, because here's the situation now. A lot of women out there were very frustrated with me and were mad at me because they couldn't understand that it's not about the two of us. We'll go on a date and everything will be fine, and all of a sudden they don't see me anymore. I don't return their call. I went MIA. I did with some MIA or something. No, I did. Because in our first conversation, I'll let you know right there and then that I have two children. I have two beautiful children. And you better know, oh my God, how many of you are here today? You better know what you're going to say next when I talk about my children. That there's no room for error. There is zero tolerance. That's how you need to be as a parent. Zero tolerance. So if you don't answer the right way, you can't tell me that, oh, I don't want children actually, and then tomorrow coming backpedaling. Once you say it, you already said it. It's in your heart. So don't change because of me. You must be already changed before you can go anywhere or do something. If not, then it's too late. It's too late.
Yes, I think with the children's experience, it really uh, goes upon how the adults handle it because we create the experience and you will have both sides. Thankfully for us, we've been blessed. It's been a great experience and we have a close family and we are doing well. But you have both sides. You have children who may instantly embrace. You have others that may be a little taken aback or they may have defense mechanisms put up in different things. But I think the most important thing to understand is the why behind their behaviors. All children want to be loved. They want to have a sense of trust,
Mhm.
especially when there's situations where the children have been at a particular age to witness and understand divorce. The thought of going through that again for them is challenging, it's scary. And so to make a great experience, the communication is so key. One, expressing your love for them jointly, and that is something, you know, that I've tried to work upon and Daniel as well. When we speak to our children, telling them how we love them, what our intents are for them, I think that is so important. And just letting them know that you are there, creating that trust, trying to create that realm of
Mhm.
understanding,
Mhm.
and giving them the opportunity to express their feelings, so you can let them know what is truth, what is not, to help them define and understand the feelings that they have, because sometimes children are feeling different things and they don't know how to explain it, and so they just respond in a particular way. You have to be able to
Mhm.
define that for them. You have to guide those emotions, you have to guide their understanding and help them through it. And I think that's what creates the ultimate experience. And it's ongoing, it's not
It's
a one time
ongoing, and,
thing.
and one
Every
thing
day.
is important when
Mhm.
it comes to children in the family. The children at times they will be disrespectful to the other parents. That is not their biological parents. You got to be prepared for that. But what you do with that is that you have to see that child as your own child that one day will be disrespectful for some reason, and where there's necessary to discipline, you discipline. But the point is, the key here is that you want to create the atmosphere for them because they've been through so much. They've been through a divorce, and now after a divorce, now they find themselves in you as a parents dating people, whether you bring these people home or not. But they know the children, I mean, they know you're dating. They'll tell you too, mommy, are you dating someone? Daddy, oh, is your girlfriend? I see you have a girlfriend, you're dating somebody. So they can see. But and then all of a sudden, daddy, you remember you used to talk to that girl, where's that lady you was talking to? Nah, my word, that's not your problem. So they know, but when you bring the person, when you blend together, you must make sure that you give them love and attention. That's the key. Give them the love and attention, and don't kill them though. They're gonna be a handful.
Yeah, so you have to be unified too in your relationship. Understand that it's you and your spouse. That partnership is so important, especially when it comes to children and introducing them
Mhm.
into the relationship, the family, creating that blended experience. You have to be on one accord. You can't allow the children to divide you. You have to come together and set your mindset, your goals as
Mhm.
far as what you want for the family, and be in unison, that we work together. We make unified decisions. It's not one saying one thing and one saying the other, but we're consistent in our voice. We're consistent in what we tell the children, and in sync with the
Mhm.
experience that we're creating as well.
In blended family, you see, uh, this is the difference. When you are divorced, it's no longer about you. It's about the children. Okay? Now, when you're married, it's not about the children, it's about you. Okay? Because now you have to be well. She and I have to be well. We can laugh in front of the camera if we can laugh in private.
Yes.
That's the problem when you are the first marriage or the previous marriage. We don't want to put first and second in the previous marriage. So then you grow, you don't know much yet. But the truth is, now that we are in another relationship, we've grown, we've learned from the past. I'm not coming and give you nothing if I can't give her first. So you're not going to get anything from me. I'm not coming to your conference. I'm not preaching for you if I can have that loving and caring relationship with my wife. So here is the thing. Lydia, thank you back for coming back.
Yeah.
We see you. So we have to be taking care of ourselves first and have a good relationship and a good understanding in order for the children to have a peaceful home, to have a loving home. And I can tell you that the blended family works perfect. And you have to find the right person to be able to do that.
As an additional, just quick note to that, it's important to know whether you're already in marriage, preparing for marriage, and so forth, when you enter marriage, it is God, your spouse, and the children. Remember that order. It's God, your spouse, and then the children. Many of us, when you've gone through seasons, especially if you've been a single parent for many years, you've dedicated so much time to that child and putting them first that sometimes you don't know how to make that transition, but there is a transition that you have to make. It is no longer fully about them, although you are there, of course, when with your love and attention, there's a different order to things, and you have to be prepared to shift that order to know that your spouse comes first, and maintaining and building and unifying that relationship. Right. And then the children come after that. So
that's so God family.
Yes.
And if a church, let's come to is God, the family, which is your wife and children, and then the church. So not the church before you have God, the family, which consists of the spouse and the children, and then the church. Any other question?
I think right now that may be it. I don't see any other questions at this time.
All right.
But we surely been enjoying.
Lydia, let us know what's going on. No, we can't hear you.